Hello, colleagues. The theme of my report is evolutionary prospects for the artificial intelligence development. The active introduction of technologies in various spheres of life is increasingly immersing a person in an artificial environment, a part of which is artificial intelligence. This environment is increasingly alienating human from biological nature. These are technologies that combine the ability to think logically, solve creative problems, understand oral and written speech, conduct a meaningful dialogue, learn, self-learn, and make decisions based on constantly updated knowledge about the situation and the world as a whole. Of course, today there are technologies that can write a musical composition, beat grandmasters in a game of chess or a game of Go, understand and reproduce spoken language, and so on. There are also more complex projects that can perform multiple tasks. For example, Robot Sophie, which was very popular a few years ago. But there are no programs that allow you to combine all human abilities. In general, there are three main approaches to the future interaction between human and technology. The first one is the fusion of technology and the biological species Homo sapiens. The second one is that technology continues to make our lives easier, but a person remains a person. And finally, humanity will be completely replaced by machines. The technologies of artificial intelligence are based on the principle of self-learning, and they may become a particular danger to humans. If restrictions are not introduced into the functioning algorithms, then the self-development of artificial intelligence can lead to the fact that it will quickly surpass human intelligence, which, of course, can also hardly be called completely natural. The formation of neural connections occurs under the influence of the artificial environment that surrounds a person from the moment of his birth. Nevertheless, these technologies can be used for cognitive enhancement of a person. Modern medicine is already actively using the latest developments to improve the quality of sick people's lives. Artificial intelligence or its some elements could eventually be used to improve the lives of people with cognitive disabilities. For example, today there are special programs that may help people with autism spectrum disorders. Some of them have difficulty to recognize the emotions of other people. There is already a way to help them, which undoubtedly simplifies social interaction. And yet, most scientists, inventors, and public figures have very different opinions about the artificial intelligence future. For example, Elon Musk, an apologist for scientific research in various fields, believes that it's an existential threat to all humanity. As a self-learning system can quickly outperform a human if the process of self-learning is not restrained by anything. One of the ways to ensure safety can be associated with the desire to simulate safe behavior and human thinking. That is, the psychological foundations of the brain, which are transformed into a digital model or artificial intelligence. The issue of responsibility and legal regulation of relations because of the threat from developing technology arising from its use also becomes acute. That fact, who will be responsible for the actions of systems using artificial intelligence, deserves their greatest attention. Such changes are the extrapolation of the technological power growth as megatrends of social evolution. Kopnazaritan wrote that during this century, the planetary civilization will face unprecedented turn of removal from nature, which in all critical epochs ensured the overcoming of the anthropogenic crisis, or an equally unprecedented collapse in scale. Both scenarios of the civilization collapse and the beginning of the evolution downward line look real due to the rapid development of technology, as well as progressive development scenarios associated with the transition of the system to a new level of complexity, improvement of robotics, development of artificial intelligence, space expansion, even the creation of a complete brain-computer interface or brain-brain interface. It's also impossible to exclude development options where a person remains a biological being, which nevertheless can change significantly as a result of genome improvement, replacement of internal organs, or bioprosthetics. Perhaps this is the most realistic approach to the future, which preserves the hope for the preservation of human. Even artificial intelligence, the danger of uncontrolled development of which today causes a lot of discussion, and indeed it may become a real problem. Human is degenerating as a biological species. Natural selection is almost completely blocked by humanistic culture. Because of this, subsequent generations gradually become genetically weaker than the previous ones. The survival of our species requires the use of more and more new technologies for medical purposes, which in turn can lead to longer life and to the improving of life quality. Although some studies in this area are prohibited for ethical reasons, because endowing a person with properties that are completely alien to his nature remains taboo even in those scientific fields where the demarcation of the boundaries of the morally permissible actions has not yet been completed. Only the ethical norms remain an important limitation of research in some areas. For example, experiments on human cloning are prohibited. Consistent ethics councils should, in our opinion, regulate research and development in the field of artificial intelligence. The ethics and openness of studies were recognized as important principles for useful artificial intelligence during the Asilomar conference in 2017. There are other perspectives for humanity. There is opinion that it's necessary to abandon corporeality as the basis of human identity, but the scenario of preserving symbiosis seems more plausible, and a biologically weakening humanity cannot survive without it. A few years ago, I thought about the purpose of such aspirations, because it seemed to me that it might be possible to transfer only the rational part of the personality to electronic media in the future. But emotional programming technologies have been actively developing in recent years. While they are aimed at teaching gadgets to recognize human emotions, perhaps artificial intelligence will learn to imitate them over time. And yet, the imitation and the real experience of emotions are very different from each other. This may help a person to begin to perceive artificial intelligence as part of his social environment, but it will not make artificial intelligence a full-fledged personality. In addition, our individuality is formed under the influence of other people, some minor circumstances and traumatic childhood memories. All these things may not be known to those who will be engaged in transferring the intelligence of a particular person to an electronic medium. As a result, we get a completely different personality. And yet, the ideologists of transhumanism believe that artificial mechanisms will appear that can become the forefront of the mind evolution and lead, or perhaps completely absorb, more and more lagging behind people. And they believe that it will happen in the foreseeable future. This is no longer a simple creation of robots. These are attempts by a certain part of inventors to create a Superman capable of replacing Homo sapiens. The intelligence of this new species may surpass human intelligence, but it's difficult enough to seriously talk about the presence of personality in avatars. And yet, such an ideology doesn't have a serious impact on our contemporaries, although it originated more than a century ago. Many people don't aspire to immortality, but to prolong the period of a healthy life. It's likely that the next technological breakthroughs will be associated with the development of medicine and robotics. Interest in medicine and research in this area will probably be the most relevant today, since the pandemic COVID-19 has once again clearly demonstrated the fragility of the human body and its insecurity to the natural environment. There are three options left. At the first, the cessation of research in this area and a ban on the improvement of such technologies, similar to the ban on human cloning. But many difficulties can arise in this case, because such developments are difficult to control. The group of enthusiasts is enough to continue the study. In addition, millennial trends cannot be changed by a simple managerial decision. All attempts to delay the development of technologies for various social reasons, mainly to prevent unemployment, ended in failure in the past. Secondly, the development of artificial intelligence elements that will improve the quality of human life, revolutionize, for example, the labor market, make living conditions easier, help people with serious mental disorders become a full-fledged part of society, and help them to realize all their dreams, and so on. And final options is the development of artificial intelligence in full. The artificial intelligence evolutionary prospects will also depend on the choice of one of these options. However, it's not a direct threat. Any technology can be used for both evil and good. The situation with the artificial intelligence is more complicated than with the previous technologies, because with its maximum development and ability to solve alone, it can surpass the human one. Then a person can lose the place of the engine of evolution. It can be occupied by artificial intelligence as a new evolutionary leader. At the same time, all the developments in this area can be used for the development of the person himself, if you are careful and do not succumb to either panic or euphoria.